Hello, welcome or welcome back to my tiny little corner of the YouTube universe where I talk about what I am knitting on. In case you're wondering, my name is Charlotte and I am a knitter from Northern California. We are currently having a pretty nice, well, actually, we've had a very nice weather spell in general, but currently we're having like a slightly overcast, like the clouds are going in and out kind of day, which is nice for this time of year. Like we are in January. But it does mean that the lighting might be a little funky because there is a window right there. I also have like an artificial light. I'm really new to this, so I'm just trying things out with lighting and microphones and stumbling hopefully into something that works for me. Speaking of microphones, I do have my little microphone again. And once again, I do have dogs in the room with me while I'm filming. I thought that like maybe they just wanted to hang out with me, which is part of it, but I think for some reason they actually really like when I'm sitting here talking to myself. Like they like to just, I don't know, hear my voice, which is kind of sweet. So yeah, I am currently, I would say at like the tail end of this silly cold that has just like wiped through everybody I know, and it just is lingering. It's just like this won't quite go away. I feel absolutely fine. But yeah, I'll try and pause if there are any like major coughing issues. I thought that it would be good and like fun and maybe interesting to go through all of my current works in progress. I've actually watched a couple of these videos recently on YouTube. People have been putting them out, you know. I've seen many, but recently I saw this YouTube podcaster, knitter, Connie G, and she did a really great one of basically like going, you know, going through all the things that she still had left from last year. And her idea was kind of like finish it February, which I love. So I kind of have that in my mind. And then I also watched Jordan Amanda from Jackass Collective, and that was also just a really fun recap of like all the things that like you started, and like I don't even know what even exists in my WIPs. Like I know some of what's going on because I've been working on it recently, but there's some stuff that I just don't even know what's going on and what's happening here. I'm currently sitting in front of all of my WIPs. So before we really get into it, I want to do just a little overview of where I am sitting right now. I'm sitting in my knitting chair in front of what I like to call my wall of WIPs. And that sounds a lot more scandalous than it is. But overall, it's pretty tame because what we're talking about is a wall of shelves that have too many knitting projects in them, which I suppose in and of itself is kind of scandalous. Like the amount of knitting projects I have, whew, scandalous. So this is where I keep all of my WIPs. It is a 5-shelf storage shelf, and on the very bottom I keep my shoes, but then everything else is full of knits. So yeah, we even have this shelf all the way up here, and that is where currently my friend Mouche is living, and I don't think you're going to be able to see that very well during the video. So yeah, that's the wall of WIPs. that's where I keep all of them. And it works for me because they are still all very accessible. I did have previously like projects tucked away in the closet and sometimes in other places, but I've pulled them all out, and like even if they're tucked away, they're still in a bag or in a basket on this shelf. My thought is that we'll just kind of go through what's on here, and I'll just start pulling things out of bags and showing them off. I did decide to bring out a hanger, so I might hang up like some of the sweaters and things so they're a little easier to see. Before we get like really into it, I should say what I am wearing. I'm technically wearing two knit garments. I am wearing garments. They're both accessories, but two hand knit items. I am wearing a pair of hand knit socks, but they are like my most loved and worn socks, and they're covered in dog hair. So we're just going to leave them down there. And then I'm also wearing this hat that is a self-drafted hat that I finished pretty recently, like right at the end of 2024. So that is what I'm wearing. It is a 2x3 ribbed hat in Madeline Tosh DK in the colorway either, I think it's Yellow Brick Road. So yeah, if you see me reaching over here at all, I've got one of the dogs like literally right here within reach. This is my old man dog. His name is Arlo, and he is like my number one baby. Aren't you, buddy? Yeah. He is a rescued Tijuana street dog, and he's just the best boy ever. If you want to get a good dog, get yourself a street dog. Like if you want a dog for personality and just like a grateful dog, get yourself a street dog. We have already started off with a dog tangent, and we're not very far into this video. Yeah. The next thing I want to mention before we get into the WIPs is my one and only finished object. And it's just one, but I have to show it off because it's so fun. So they are right here. And these are a pair of socks that I just finished. So technically it's two objects, but that I just finished. And they are I think they're called the Seaway. Hold up, friends. They're not the Seaway socks. I think I put on my Instagram that they're the Seaway socks. Oops. They're the Seafarer socks by Summerlee Knits. Got to mention this book in every video, otherwise, what am I doing? That's the sock project. It is her first book, and I think she's coming out with another one like maybe next year or something, or this year. I don't know, but there's another one. I decided to make these super long because I really wanted a sock that could kind of like maybe slouch down. I wanted them to be sporty, but I also wanted cables. I got this yarn on my birthday knitting vacation that I took myself on, which if you want, you can watch that first video that I made where I am sitting in a tiny house in the redwoods in the rain talking all about knitting. But on that trip, I went to Monarch Knitting in, I think it's Pacific Grove, and I got this Coats & Co. yarn in these two different colors. I think it's electric yellow, and then I don't know what the white is, but I got a full skein of the yellow and then minis of white. These have a heel flap and gusset, and they have just, it's all the same exact cable, same leans the same way, so it's very easy to do. I found cabling without a cable needle to be a piece of cake on this yarn. Like it has enough toothiness to it that the stitches aren't going to like slip and drop, and yeah, they hold pretty well. So that was a great surprise. And I haven't worn them yet because they're just so pristine. They might be my favorite pair of socks I've ever knit. So those are those socks. Those are my only thing that I have finished. And we're going to get into all the things that I have not finished. Woohoo, let's do it. I am currently sipping on some water. Highly recommend hydration. If you need a little reminder, here's your reminder to go drink some water. This is in my big dumb cup, and I love this thing. I love it so much. They're popular for a reason, you know? Like, what can I say? Happy to be basic. Okay. All right. Okay. I am like, honestly, I'm a little afraid to start. Like, I'm a little overwhelmed about what we're even gonna find. What are we gonna find? My plan is to just start at the top because that seems the most manageable. And these bags, I have more of an idea what's in them, so they're less intimidating to me at the moment. And I'm also hoping that as I do this, that I can maybe organize, sort, and kind of get this situation under control a bit. And I think I want to come up with like some actual plans of like, how am I going to finish this? When am I going to finish it? Because right now I'm just overwhelmed. And that's not what knitting should make us feel. No, only joy, which is how I ended up with so many cast ons. Like, I am just a cast it on girl. Like, it is so nice to really just not care. So that's how we got in this situation. But I also want to have more finished items and then more space to cast on new things. Yeah. Because we're full. Like, I can't really fit more here, and I don't want to get beyond this situation. Alrighty, let's dig in. Let's do it. WIP number 1 is right here. And this is the only thing in this bag. So that's nice. A lot of these bags and baskets have more than one thing in them. And it is a sweater, so let me just put it on my hanger. Here is number 1. So this very first one is the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. And I am knitting it out of Hedgehog fiber Tweedy DK in the color Original. And it's just a gray yarn, but that has all these fun specks and speckles of like neon, rainbow. There's even some glitter in there. And it's really right up my alley, like kind of neutral, but also like kind of wild, which is where my style lies, I think. So, yeah. This project has been so fun to knit up. I was working on it literally today. And so I'm feeling very hopeful. Like, yeah, it'll get done soon because I've been working on it a lot lately. But it is somewhere like pretty soon after this that I often will put a sweater away and get distracted by something else. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Ugh, just look at the texture on this. Like, what a fun knit. I really like how this lattice works. I will say, I've already knit this whole one once, and my gauge was so different from knitting it flat to knitting it in the round that I had to take this all out and go down a needle size for this part, which I think will work because then we're going to go into this ribbing, and I don't want the ribbing to be too wide. And I'm kind of thinking I want this a little cropped-ish, or at least not too long. So I don't know. I kind of want to end with the 2x2 ribbing. Then the pattern goes into a 1x1, but I'm thinking I just like the 2x2. But we'll see. Yay, number 1 done. We're gonna start, I think, like just a stack that is sweaters for me. Things might change, but that's how we're starting. We're just gonna go right into the next one that I pulled off of here. I actually thought it'd be a different, I think I thought it was that bag, but that's okay. We're going into this. And this is for Mouche, the bear, who I showed you. And it is his dungarees or overalls. And I'm almost done with leg number 2. I think I have like 2 rounds and I just need to cast off that leg. Like, finish it, girl. Finish it. Finish it. But then I do have to like pick up and do the top overall bib part of the dungaree. So yeah, that is really close to being done. I am wanting to prioritize this because it is for my nephew and I'm going to be seeing him in a couple weeks, and it would be really rad if I could hand deliver Mouche in his dungarees to him. So I think we're going to make a pile of like priority. Like, this is at the top of the list. Maybe put some other things away for a bit, focus on these. Okay, anything else in here? Yes. The other thing that I have in here is another little animal from this book, Mouche and Friends. And it is for my littlest niece. I was really hoping I could finish this by Valentine's Day. There's a dog on the move. I was hoping I could finish this by Valentine's Day, but I'm kind of worried that won't happen. But basically, this is the start of actually not 1, but 2 pigs. I've already made a full one of these pigs, but I've started 2 more because I think they might be the cutest pattern in there. So that is on my list. 2 pigs, 1 for my niece. And then y'all, I don't know who the other one's for. Maybe me. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so that's the basket of little animals. I also have the yarn for the donkey Horatio in here, but I haven't cast him on yet. And you know what? I think I need to cast off some pigs before I cast on a donkey. Okay, Charlotte, take your own advice. This is not all priority, just the pants. The pants are the priority. The next project that I have is another sweater, and this is the Instant Crush sweater by Locatelli. And I did have an instant crush on this pattern, and really the crush has not faded. It did take a little bit of ripping out. I did have a little bit of tension issues. This is my first all over colorwork sweater that I've done, and I'm pretty proud of it. It is knit in Les Garçons Fluff in these 4 different colors. And I've been working on this like on and off. I pick it up at least once or twice a week right now, I'd say. And I really would love to have this finished by like at sometime in this colder season so I can still wear it. And kind of same with the Ingrid. Like, I would like to finish those, I don't know, before April, like when I can still wear them a little. I know the weather is just going to get cold again next year, but like, I do want to finish them soonish. Oh, so fluffy. It's like a cloud. Oh, love it. Let's see what we've got in here. Okay, there's 2. This one came out easier, so we're going to start with that. This is my Brooklyn General Store tote bag. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably know what's in here already, but It is my slipover for my niece. This is the Stockholm slipover by Petite Knit, and I'm knitting it out of a Plymouth Happy Feet sock yarn, as well as Lana Grossa Seta Suri, I think it's called. And these are colors that my niece picked out. She is about to be 13 and she knows what she likes in her clothes. I am going to be going to see her along with my nephew in like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 weeks. I'm so excited. But I really want to finish this in time to hand deliver to her as well. And all I have to do is finish casting off the bottom. I have actually cast off the back down here. And so I just need to cast off the bottom here and then do all this ribbing. And it's not the doing the ribbing that's holding me back in the moment. I think it's picking up the stitches. That's the little bit that's like, I don't feel like doing it. And I think that's how I end up with so many WIPs, is that it is very often that I will reach just that little place where I'm like, I don't want to do that, or, oh, I made a mistake. And hopefully this video is going to give me a little bit of clarity into like, hi, buddy. Hi. Hopefully the video will give me some clarity into like where I'm at with a lot of these knits and what are my hangups. That is that one for my niece. And we are going to add that to the priority pile over here with the one for my nephew. The dogs were all settled and now they're just all up and feeling fancy and fresh. Okay, I've kicked all the dogs out. Well, actually, Arlo requested to leave, and anyways, all the dogs are out of the room. I don't think it'll last very long, but let's keep going. The next thing that was in this same basket as that bag is this other bag. This is when it gets into like, I don't remember what's in them. Aw, okay. All right, this only kind of works and it does look kind of funky, but whatever. This is the R&R hoodie by Tanis Lavalley, and it's for my littlest niece. And I made a mistake where I think I didn't do enough decreases before I started the increases for the hood. And so I have to frog, like, where did the increases start? I have to frog a lot, like 4 or 5 inches. So I kind of just stuck it away. But I do need to finish this. This is the one I also like had yarn chicken, lost yarn chicken, got more yarn, and then when I got more yarn, I made the mistake. So we still have a ways to go on this. And I really want to finish it, but it's not like #1 priority because I'm seeing my other niece and nephew very soon, and I really need to prioritize theirs. So we're going to put this in like a grade 2 priority. And this is knit using both a lace weight wool and a fingering weight like plant-based fiber. And the plant-based fiber is what has given us all the colors. Okay, so I think we're gonna put the priority ones right here back on this middle shelf because they are very important. So unfortunately, my light that I had trying to supplement the like cloudiness has died, but I do want to just kind of forge on and hope for the best that the lighting is okay. this next thing that I'm making started off as a hat, and then I think I changed my mind and I'm actually going to make a cowl out of it because I kind of need a cowl. I don't have anything to protect my neck, and so that's where this came in. Some hedgehog fibers, nope, more Madeline Tosh DK, and a gray mohair. I'm just going to knit like a really long tube and maybe just end the tube when I run out of this or something. Or when I feel like it's long enough. That's number 1 that's in there, but there are 2 projects in this basket. The dogs are back in. I don't know what's going on. I just need you guys to chill. The next thing I have in this basket is the shawl I'm making for my mom. And unfortunately, I haven't had any progress on it. But it is the What Tomorrow Brings shawl. And it's so pretty. And I think I need to start a shawl kind of stack. I have a sweater stack, but I think I want to see, I think I actually know how many shawls I have because it's not a lot, but I want to put those, oh, actually this is the way that's forwards, but I think I want to put those in a pile. And this is about 2/3 of the way done. I still have this like big outside band to do, so we'll see. Shawl pile. Oh, the next thing I have on this shelf is actually, well, it's kind of a WIP because what I am sitting on is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose that I currently have a few ends to weave in, but is sitting at a 5x5 25 square blanket. And I want to add a lot more to that. And that is where this comes in. And that is this basket of mini skeins and leftovers. And it is a little bit out of control right now, I would say. Like, there's so much happening in here. There are layers of mini skeins. Layers. So, I love this basket of things. It's just like a rainbow inside of here. So he lives there. And I pull out little bits either for this blanket or for the clothes that I've been making Mouche and his friends. I'm going to go down here because then the last thing I have is just these 2 big bags. And this is when we're really getting into the underworld. Like, we don't know what's going on. But in here, oh, okay. We have a bag and we have a sweater chilling right here. So we're going to start right here. This sweater is a cardigan. It's the Champagne cardigan by Petite Knit. And I started it like almost a year ago and then kind of put it away when the seasons got warmer and then never took it back out again. So yeah, I just need to work on it. I think it would be such a good like staple piece to have in my wardrobe, like a nice gray cardigan. It just would feel cozy, like wrapping yourself up in a gray rain cloud or something, but not wet. I'm knitting it in Joji long alba and a fuzzy gray mohair. Next thing that I have in here is another sweater. Gorgeous. This here sweater is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. I am doing twisted rib details, so that really is what has made this take forever. It is this gorgeous green color, which is created with Cascade 220 fingering and mohair, and they're in, I don't know if you could tell, but they are in two slightly different shades of green. So it makes a really pretty marl, but it's like a subtle, gentle marl. And I am currently just on the point where I'm knitting what will hopefully be about 2 inches or so of twisted rib on the bottom. It's taking forever because they're pretty big rounds. And I do keep chugging away on it, but not often enough. And so this one is just kind of sitting stagnant. I wanted it done by Christmas for a Christmas sweater, and that did not happen. So maybe next year. So that was the Monday sweater, and that puts the sweater pile at 4. I've had a little interruption because of the dogs, but they are now being supervised by somebody else, and hopefully that will mean things are a little bit calmer. They started off so chill and so happy to just listen to me talk, and then they got restless, and yeah, okay. We're gonna just continue on. The lighting also might be funny. I'm sorry if the sound is funky. Like, we're just doing our best out here, you know? What else can we ask for? Not much. The last, I think I only have two giant bags to go through. And they are this bag and this bag's. They're the same bag, but one of them, this one, is a lot fuller. And we have in here a bag of garments and a bag of accessories. Let's kind of quickly go through the accessories and then get into this can of worms that is the bag of garments. So this is the other shawl that I have going on, in addition to the one for my mom, and it is the half and half triangle wrap by Pearl Soho. And I have probably like 80% or maybe 90% of triangle number 1 done. And then I'm going to be using like a really dark gray for the other half of the triangle. Pretty boring, but also I like my grays, what can I say? This has been like bedtime knitting and just like comfort knitting for well over the last year. And I would love if I could get it done in the calendar year of 2025. That could be a nice goal. A big goal, a lofty goal. It's fingering weight yarn. And I can't actually remember what I'm knitting it in. Something. That's kind of fun like that. Look at that. Just a squish of garter. Yeah. And I keep that in this very important to me Hello Kitty Sacramento Kings basketball bag. This is a coveted, treasured item. So that brings us to 2 shawls. Now I'm just going to start pulling things out of here. And hopefully we can have some that we're just going to frog. This first one is a pair of socks that I have talked about in a recent video, so I won't go into too much. They are, I'm working the heel flap, so the yarn is mad tangled, but I will sort it out. And I'm almost done with the heel flap. Need to turn the heel and then get back to the pattern and the regularly scheduled programming. This pattern is so fun to work up. Maybe a little more headache than it's worth to do 2 at a time. But I also know myself, and I probably would never finish a pair of socks if I didn't do them, especially like this, 2 at a time. That's those. Those are for a friend of mine. So I actually think those might be in the priority category. Do we do it? Yeah. I'm going to stick them in this bag. There we go. Priorities. The next thing I have is another pair of socks. And these are just a simple like vanilla pair of socks that I royally messed up on. This sock is so much smaller than the other one. I want to frog both of them, do them over 2 at a time. Maybe do a fun pattern or texture in them as well. There's so many options for socks, but probably still the same colors together. And this is the same yarn that my niece's vest for Stockholm Slipover is being knit out of. So these are frog pile. Let's start it. Kind of crazy that we're this far in and this is my first item that I want to frog. I really like the things I knit, you know? I get attached. Next we have a hat. This is the Musselburgh. And I decided to do it half stockinette and then experiment with doing ribbing. And so I'm on the half where I need to do the ribbing. And I actually think I'd like wanted to use this yarn maybe for somebody somewhere else, and like I wanted to just abandon this project. But it's so far in. But at the same time, it is also like a lot of 1x1 rib to go. So we'll see. That's going to be in the TBD pile. This next one, I actually think I know what I need to do. This is going to go in the frog pile. It's the very beginning of a hipster hat. And I don't have it in me to make another long hipster hat, especially if I try and finish that one. Frog it. Next thing I have out of there is another hat. And this one is the Musselburgh hat, which in theory was such a fun idea, but I don't think I'll ever wear it. And so this one is also going to go in the frog pile. Ooh, yay. The next thing is another pair of socks that I'm doing 2 at a time. I started these at the same time that I started my yellow socks. And I actually am going to frog these because I'm just not feeling it. And if you're not feeling it, why keep going? These could be so many other things, so many different patterns, and I don't want them to be just this. I've turned on another light to hopefully help with the lighting situation, but it does mean the lighting will have changed throughout this video. Oh well. The next thing down in this bag is yet another hipster hat that has so little done on it that this is also a contender for frogging. In here, it looks like we've got 2 projects. Okay, this is like a sock I started that I actually really like the idea of it. It'll be a DK, like marled sock holding 2 strands double, but I think I forgot like what I was even doing, and I don't knit socks 1 at a time anymore. This will be frogged. I can always use the yarn for socks again. And then I have almost one of these gloves. And I think I knit them too long in the hand, and I don't like the color. They don't suit me or my wardrobe. I'm not sure what I was thinking. And I also don't have it in me to knit another one. So frog. We started off with no frogging, and now it's like ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Add that to the frog pile. Okay, we only have 2 more in this accessory bag. 2 more bags, so let's see. Oh, okay, we have a finished sock. I've actually worn this sock because I loved it so much, and it's so warm. It's another DK weight sock, and the pattern I think is called the Meet Cute sock. So it's got cables on the front and then just ribbed on the back. And I did start sock number 2, and I don't love knitting on these teeny tiny circulars, so maybe I'll switch it to magic loop and finish it off because I would really like to have this as a pair of socks. They'll be so warm. They have both sock yarn in them and then also just like a nice woolly woolen yarn. as well. This next one is a hat. This is the Musselburgh, and I like to do about, I don't know, a third of the hat in a different color. And so I probably have a little bit more stockinette, and then I start the crown decreases. And that way I can have a pop of like the light blue with it. I can't remember what the yarns are, but there's like a DK with a mohair. And then I know that this one is Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo in this blue. And then it's also held with a blue mohair. This is going to be such a thick, warm hat. I don't know. I might have to plan a trip to the Arctic just to wear it, but it'll be cute and it'll be cozy. Alrighty, so we just have one more bag to take a look at. Stick this one back here to soon be refilled with items, and take this one down. And this bag is full of garments that I have started. Let's just start with the first one. Okay. I don't even know if I can hang it on here. No. Okay, so I wanted to try and hang it on here because it is technically a garment, but it's barely done enough to actually hold itself up. This is the Traveler cardigan by Ozetta, and I've just started. I'm holding two different colors of Linen Quill by Pearl Soho together, and I love this. It's so squishy, so warm. I made a tiny mistake back here on the button band, and that is why I'm stalled. And then also, I only have one skein each color of these yarns, so I need to put in like a hefty order to actually finish this off. But it'll be just such a nice, like, calm, neutral cardigan. Throw it over anything, and it'll be super warm as well because it's a pretty thick cardigan. It's still breathable. And it's that Linen Quill that is so light and such a great yarn. And it is creating this like cool, pretty, marley effect. I love. The next one I have is, I think, the last sweater. This sweater is the Frances sweater by Jen Geigley, and this is my second iteration of it. My first one I did just in gray and white. And this one I'm using some Beaterbrook Farms for this color changing yarn. I did have to kind of splice out all the bits that were too yellow or just like too pale because I didn't think they would be enough contrast with this like oatmeal creamy color. And I paused on this because my original vision had to been like, let me do it all color work. And then I didn't have enough of the Beaterbrook, so I decided I'll just do it like the pattern calls for. And then I started the body and I was like, I don't know if I like it without color work on it. And so I stopped. But I think it'll still look really cool. And I really like how I did 2x2 rib and this rolled edge. And I want to continue that. And I'm also doing a little detail down the side. So I think I just maybe should just keep going. Not worry about having it be all color work. Because it doesn't need to be. Whew, I've had this one on my needles for so long, and it feels like a little bit liberating to talk that through because I really wasn't sure what I was going to do and what was going on with this. But I want to finish it. I don't want to frog it. I want this as a sweater. Okay. That means the sweater pile is growing. Okay, we are down to the very last two baggies, and they are both purple summer knits. Can you tell I was in a mood this summer? This first one is deserving of being hung up. Okay, this is so cool. This first one is the Mini Mock Neck by Jessie Mays. This is actually going to be quite thick for what this is, and maybe a little warm. There is a summer yarn in here, or is it just two? It's a lace and a sock. That's what it is. It's a lace and a sock that I'm holding together. The one on top is from 29 Bridges yarn fiber, 29 Bridges. It's out of, I think, Maryland. And then the bottom one is, or the pinker one is Anzula Luxury Fibers out of California. And this is a case of, I put it away when it was fall because I wanted to work on fall, warm, cozy things. So I actually will probably tuck this back away until like April or May and pull it out again then. And it's making this really cool, oh, that fabric is just delightful. I wanted something to kind of break up how heavily like speckly and variegated the 29 Bridges yarn was, and that's why I decided to pair it with another yarn. In case you didn't know, purple is my favorite color. I don't know if you can tell by these walls, although they will be changing colors to this nice cream because I'm ready for just some neutral in my life, but I do love some purple. I like my neutrals, but then how could you not love it? Just the best color. I feel like I'm missing something. What I am missing is that somewhere it exists. Huh. I have a whole Stockholm slipover. Not the one I'm making my niece, but I have one that I'm making in black that I'm at a similar spot that I just need to finish the ribbing and bind off for all the armholes and everything. And I don't know where it is. So that was the Monday sweater. The Monday sweater. So I also have that somewhere. But let's get to the very last item that we have, last garment. And this is not, we're not going to be able to hang this one up to see it, but it is the, oh my gosh, is it the Helianthus or the Sunshine? I think it's the Sunshine Tee by Andrea Gahn. And I'm knitting this in 2 strands of a lace weight linen silk yarn by Anzula Luxury Fibers. And it's just lovely purple, almost lilac-y. And so it'll be a t-shirt. So I will have a purple tank and a purple tee for when my mood is feeling that. And this I'm so actually excited to have to wear in my wardrobe. Just the fabric is so good. But this is also going to be tucked away until the weather warms up a bit more. Okay, that's it. We did it. We did it all. Let's see, what have we got going on? Up here, we have our priorities, and those are the pair of socks for my friend, overalls for Mouche, and a vest for my niece. Those are 3 things that I would like to finish by the beginning of February. Let's see. And then I have my stack I have over here, which is sweaters and garments. I have, and I'm going to include my Stockholm slipover in this because it's somewhere. But I have 9 garments. There are 6 sweaters, 1 slipover, 1 t-shirt, and 1 tank top. And 1 of those sweaters is a cardigan. The other 5 are pullovers. No, 4 pullovers, 2 cardigans. Okay. And I think I'm going to, after I finish that, those will be my priority while the weather is still cold. Okay, so that'll be February into March. Cool. And then I have my accessories pile, which consists of 2 shawls, a cowl, and a hat, a cowl, 2 hats, and a pair of socks. Okay. And then over here, I have to be frogged. Oh, and I have this one for my niece. I think I'm going to kind of keep it up here because I want to have it prioritized actually kind of with this stuff. Not quite as high priority, but we're keeping it up there because it just needs a little frog and then we'll be back in business. And then for the truly needed to be frogged items, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're all accessories and smaller items. I have not counted how many items this was, although I might stop and do that right now and like put the number right here. How many WIPs do I have total going? It's a lot. Okay, that's everything. If you made it this far, heck yes, subscribe if this is something you want to watch more of. I mean, you've made it this far, so might as well. I am also over on Instagram if you want to check that out. And I am thinking my next video is going to be a check back in, kind of part 2 of my gift knits, and see if I can finish off the gift knitting that I started in 2024. The 2 channels I think I mentioned are Connie G and Jordan Amanda, and I will leave their links in the description below. They're both so great and bring very different vibes to knitting, but I really appreciate both of them. And speaking of Jordan Amanda specifically, I just think that it's super important for me, myself, and I to support other queer artists, queer fiber artists, and crafters and makers. And so I want to give Jordan a particular shout out. And with that, I will also say that the Sibling Energy podcast is back for their, I think they're calling it their season 2. And if you haven't spent time hanging out with Tim and Mackenzie yet, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And they also just make you feel like you're hanging out with a couple of friends while you knit. All right, that is all I have for me. These dogs really need love and attention, and it's now time for their dinner. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I had so much fun talking about all this stuff. I was kind of overwhelmed coming in, and I'm overwhelmed, but like in a way that I think we can manage. So, yeah. Thanks for bearing with. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully, I'll see you soon. Bye.